Good evening, everyone. This is Joyce from GS Study Solutions. Welcome to our Discovery series where we will talk about various topics on further education. So tonight, as you can see, we'll be talking about a very interesting topic, a topic that a lot of students actually ask us. It's about postgraduate studies, but for tonight, we will focus more on a master's degree. I would like to share with you several points that you should consider, that you should think about, you should reflect on before you actually decide to do a master's degree. So a master's degree may sound actually very grand, or it may sound very academic, it may sound very research-based, but that is not all of it. There are a lot of aspects that you need to know, that you need to consider before actually deciding the type of master's degree that is suitable for you. But before that, let us look at the first point. So the first point before deciding to do a master's degree is that you have to be very honest with yourself. A lot of students, especially those who have just finished their degree, or those who have started working, or those who are still looking for a job, we would like to ask the students whether you are trying to escape from the job hunting process or your current work situation, especially for those who have just started working or who have worked for several years. So a lot of cases happen, a lot of students who want to do masters because they are trying to escape from looking for jobs, or they might be looking for jobs already, but they're very disappointed during the process because they've waited for quite some time, maybe more than 6 months or maybe up to a year, and they feel very frustrated because they are not offered the job that they want, or they are not satisfied with the terms and conditions that are being offered. So instead of working right away after graduation, they think of studying masters after they graduated. So they are looking at masters as their spare tire. They are looking at masters as their next option instead of starting to work right away, which is a very wrong mindset, because doing a master's is actually as serious as a full-time job, and studying a master's is not as relaxing as you think it would be. So the second category, which I've also mentioned earlier, are for those who have already worked for several years. You might feel very tired, you might feel very frustrated, you might experience a lot of stress at work, you feel very trapped, and you think that studying is a better option, it's more relaxing. But let me tell you that going back to study for a master's degree is absolutely different from studying for a degree. It's a very different commitment. You have to be very emotionally and mentally prepared. So the main difference is that when you're doing a master's degree, you will need to do a lot of independent study. You have to spend a lot of time on your own. If you are doing a science-related master's degree or research-based master's degree, you will spend a lot of time in your lab, repeating experiment after experiments, getting the right number of calculation or whatnot. If you are doing something to do with business, you have to refer to a lot of case studies. If you are doing something related to social science, you might need to conduct interview that will take you a few months or even a few years, and most of the time you'll be alone. Rarely you will have classes. You can go for classes, but for the classes itself, it is not as big as a class when you have your degree. And most importantly, a very realistic part is that you will not have a very stable income, a stable salary if you opt for a full-time master's degree, which we will talk about later. So take this time before deciding to do a master's degree to actually ask yourself, what is the purpose? Why do you want to do a master's degree? Is it out of, frustration? It is out of comparison. You might be tempted to follow your friend who is doing a master's, and you just say, why not I just follow him or her to do a master's since I cannot find a job yet. So before jumping into that decision, make sure you actually take the time to actually ask yourself the true reason why you want to do a master's. And after that, you can do a lot of research about the types of masters and the universities and programs that you want to go into. So the first thing that I would like to share is that you need to consider is whether you want to do a full-time or part-time master's degree. So this is very important because it will decide whether you will quit your day job or not, whether you need to, work while study. So it matters a lot on how you manage your time and how you manage your finance. Obviously, if you do a full-time master's degree, you have to spend a lot of time in the university. You will not have a stable income unless you become a research assistant. Then you might earn some amount of money, but it will not be as much as a full-time job. For part-time, you can continue working and you might opt for night classes or even weekend classes. But as we will mention later on, it will affect the duration of the whole course of study, and it will also affect the time when you graduate. So after considering whether you're going to do full-time or part-time, let us look at the types of masters that are available right now. So the first type of masters that I would like to introduce to you is a coursework master's degree. So a coursework master's degree is actually more assignment and exam based with minor emphasis on dissertation. So a lot of people, when they think about master's degrees, that I need to write a very long thesis, I need to do a lot of research, do a lot of writing, which is not totally wrong. But coursework master's degree actually offers you the flexibility to have both assignment and dissertation at the same time. But for coursework, the emphasis will be given more towards your assignment or your examinations. You do not have to write a longer dissertation as compared to a standard research master's degree. So most of the time, coursework master's degree take a shorter time to complete, and it focuses more on how you do well in your class performance, quizzes, presentations, and assignment. So I just want to share with you my own experience. I graduated last year. I did a master's degree in communication and media studies. It was a coursework master's, so I took 18 months to graduate, and the emphasis was more on assignment. I was evaluated mostly through my assignments and my presentations. I still need to write a dissertation, but it is relatively shorter. It is almost 8,000 words as compared to my friends who took a longer dissertation. It might reach maybe 20,000 words or above. So the main point is that coursework gave me the flexibility to actually plan out my time, because I only have 2 to 3 lessons per week, and it's mostly at night and during the weekends. So it's shorter, it's more flexible, but it places more emphasis on assignment and examination rather than the whole research paper. Okay, so the second master's is a fully research master's degree. So this is the very standard normal master's that you always hear about. You have to come up with a research question, research objectives. Most of the time you will spend a lot of time writing and rewriting. There will be no classes, there will be no examinations. You'll be evaluated 100% on your research paper. So whether you pass, your viva, your final interview, it all depends on how you have conducted your research and the results and how well you actually know your research. So relatively speaking, it will take a longer time to graduate. It will take at least 2 years to finish your papers, 2 to 3 years. Some might even take longer if they cannot write that fast, or there are some issues with their research or their results. So it's a very challenging but very rewarding master's degree as well, because it emphasizes a lot on the research and it's very deep. Okay, so we have coursework, the fully research master's degree, and we have the mixed mode master's degree. So as the name suggests, it's mixed. It's a blending of both coursework and research master's degree. You will have assignments, you have classes as well, and you also have to write a dissertation. But the difference between a mixed mode master's degree and a coursework master's degree is actually how they evaluate you. So a mixed mode master's degree, most likely you'll be evaluated 50% assignment based or 50% based on your research thesis. So it means that you might need to write a longer thesis, you might need to write a deeper dissertation as compared to the coursework master's degree. For coursework, I would say the percentage of evaluation is probably 70 to 30. 70% of your accumulation of your assignments, of your presentations, and then maybe 30% will be evaluated based on your final research paper. So these are the three types of masters that you can look into, that you can do a lot more of research, so that you can choose which type of masters that is the most suitable for you. Alright, so after looking at whether you want to choose full-time or part-time, the types of masters, the next part is of course the universities and the location. Now there are so many universities in Malaysia and also overseas, that offer master's degree. So the key thing here is to actually find out what type of masters you want to pursue and what type of program that you want to go into, and also the specialization. Because for instance, there are so many masters in communication, but what type of communication do you want to specialize in? What type of communication that you want to major in? That is something that you must look into. And another tips that I would give to you is you must look at the course structure and the subjects offered, especially if you're going into mixed mode or coursework master's degree. What I did last time was that I actually went through several universities' course structure. I compared all of them and I looked at the subjects that I'm really interested in, or I look at the subjects that I really want to learn more that I didn't get to learn when I was doing my degree. So based on that, I managed to choose the university that I want to do a master's degree. And then another thing that you should consider is whether you want to do it local or overseas. Now, this is a very typical question because at the end of the day, you need to finance your studies, especially if you are doing a full-time master's degree. You will be basically relying on your own savings, or you might opt for scholarships. For that, you have to look into the universities and of course your degree results. And whether you choose local or overseas, it's very important to also take note of the accommodation and transportation expenses as well, because at the end of the day, when you're doing a master's degree, you're investing your time and your money. You do not want to feel financially burdened or stressed, because it is actually a very long period. You are studying more intensely and you want to make sure that you are in the right condition, you have the right mindset when you're doing your master's degree. Okay, so after looking at the purpose of why you want to do a master's degree and doing a lot of research about the types of masters, the universities, the program, whether you want to do it local or overseas, the next thing is almost the final aspect before you actually decide to do a master's degree. You need to think about the outcome you want to achieve through your master's. You have to put it in a very realistic and simple manner. Because at the end of the day, you are going to graduate again. After finishing your degree, if you do a master's right after you have finished your degree, you're going to graduate the second time. And when you're graduating the second time, it means that you need to look for a job again. So for those who are already working, for those who are still working while doing their master's, they might not need to think about this aspect, but they need to focus on whether their masters will be able to help them, in their career or their present job, whether their masters will be able to add value to their present job, to their present employment. So for instance, if you are a business graduate or if you are working in the business industry and you are taking an MBA, for example, so you must be able to decide and evaluate whether this MBA is able to help you to progress in the future. Are you aiming for a promotion? Are you aiming for a different job, in a different company that requires this qualification, that requires you to actually spend your time and your money, for at least 2 years, to study in order, to achieve the outcome that you want in your career. So it's something that you need to think about, because at the end of the day, when you graduate, you need to be able to apply it, in your work, or whether it's something that you want to do in the future. You must be able to enjoy what you have learned during your master's degree. And if it's something that is totally unrelated to your first degree, for instance, if you did a degree in business and now you are doing a master's in communication or arts, you need to think about whether you are able to develop this passion, you are able to develop this interest into something more, into something deeper, that you can use it for your future ventures. So you might think that you want to start a business, or you want to, be an educator, then you can, really decide to do a master's degree. Now you might say that after a master's degree, I can go for a PhD, right? Yes, you can go for a PhD, but we only advise to do a PhD if you are really, really interested, in research-based studies, in a research-based career, or if you are really interested to be an educator, a lecturer. So it's not advisable to just, study from degree, master's, PhD right away for every stage without gaining actual working experience, because at the end of the day, whatever that you have studied through your degree, master's or PhD, it's something that you need to use for your career, for your future. So based on all these points, based on knowing your purpose, the types of master's degree, and making sure that whatever that you have studied for your master's is able to be applied for your future work, then slowly you can go into the application processes, which we at JS Study Solutions are able to help you. So at JS Study Solutions, we actually offer a variety of choices in terms of postgraduate options. Whether it's local or overseas, we have a lot of connections and collaborations with the universities. We are able to help you with the application processes, the documents that you need. If it's overseas, we can also assist you in terms of visa application, and we are happy to help you, from beginning until the end. Our services is free of charge. If you still have any doubts, or if you're still very unsure which path you should take, or whether you should do a master's local or overseas, or what type of program is actually suitable for you, we welcome you to see us at our Seremban office. It's located opposite the Seremban Market. Or if you want to contact us through our website, our Facebook or Instagram, feel free to drop us a message. We'll be very happy to help you and assist you from there. So I hope that tonight's session has been very beneficial. It has, opened your eyes, a bit more to understand what is a master's degree, and really expose you to the points that you really need to consider before you actually, do a master's degree. Of course, at the end of the day, whether you do a master's degree or whether you choose to work right away after graduation, both of them are equally good options. Most importantly, you need to remember education is your main priority. If you want to do a master's degree, you are back to a student again. You should enjoy the learning process, and of course, make use of the time, to learn new things, to explore new things, so that you'll be able to apply it right after you have graduated. So that's all from me tonight. I hope that you have enjoyed this session, and we will see you in our next Discovery Series video. Take care, bye-bye.
Hello. We hope that you have enjoyed the sessions earlier on. Continue to like our Facebook. You will continue to share our Facebook to your friends. Who knows, they will also benefit from all the sessions that we have done for you so far. Right? Okay, now I want to have a special interview today. This is something that is ad hoc, it is not planned. But I thought that I want to actually introduce to you Ginny and Joyce again. I know you have met them already over the last few series of Discovery series. And I want to just ask them some questions that may be good and beneficial for you to just know. Alright? Okay, so I want to ask Ginny and Joyce, hi, relax. Now I want to just ask you all, I know that Discovery series is your initiative, both of you. either one of you can share how you all came up with this idea of having a discovery series.
In the beginning, when we started this idea of Discovery series, it was during the MCO period, and we realized that we want to reach out to the students even more during this time.
Yeah.
We know that the students and parents are anxious and they also want to know more information, especially for those who have finished their SPM. They are still confused on what path to choose, which universities they should go, what program they should choose. So we started brainstorming on that. So Jeffrey came up with some ideas like options after SPM, and then Ginny and I we also talk about the common questions that parents always ask us, like PPTN and what do I really like, what is really suitable for me. And from there we slowly put out several topics, and then we start to plan out presentations.
Very good. I kind of like the ideas, and I kind of like when you all showed me the proposal. I thought it was very good idea. And建议有什么要再加补充 Joyce 的刚刚解析给我们听的吗？
可以就是我们在做这个 Discovery 系列里面，我们希望可以帮助到更多的同学啊、学生、家长，他们了解到什么是教育。教育里面有很多主题是很多人都不清楚它的真实的内容啊，还有方法去了解。那么我们提供这些知识给大家，就是希望大家可以分享出去给朋友啊，还有更多人来学习。然后如果你没问题，可以来到我们 JS Learning Solutions 升学辅导中心，我们会帮助你如何选择一个适合你的教育路线，去完成你的一个大学文凭，还有一些基本的文凭。
Alright， 这样我想问一下你们两位了，我是想知道你们的感觉，就是 when you are planning this discovery series, right? Can you share, the experiences? How was it, to be able to plan, to execute what you have done, and to put it into the video? And then can you share the experiences of the journey? Any one of you can do it.
For my part, because it's very new for me to record myself, and then preparing the materials is also very exciting actually, because we are thinking about the students and the parents. It's like virtual counseling, like so you don't see them face to face, right? You prepare and then you talk to the computer, but you also you also try to relate to the students and think about the common questions and difficulties that the students face. I think the most challenging part for myself is having to wait for the video to be published, and then not knowing the exact feeling of the students, because you cannot see them face to face. So you have to wait for their feedback through other methods. So that was a bit challenging for myself.
OK， 那静怡呢？有什么感受？当你准备这个 Discovery Series 的这个 process？
在准备过程中当然是很兴奋，因为我们有时候去选这些题材是我们有时候觉得很容易，但是其实内容方面是很复杂的，我们需要去读清楚，然后才可以分享。然后有一次就是 Joyce 我的同事就好像在笑我说我们好像回到了一个大学的时候，做着一些功课交给老师。我们因为其实要在这个镜头前面表现是蛮需要勇气的，但是背后的准备就是我们要把这个内容布置好，还有一定要分享到很正确的内容。所以在准备的时候，就好像我们会写作文，会准备这个 PowerPoint 去分享给大家，还有加入一些很有趣的一些例子给大家去学习还有理解。
Alright, okay, 很好。So you see, it's not easy to come up a plan, to come up a discovery program for you all, but indeed it is definitely worthwhile. Okay, and JS Study, we are always wanting to do something for you. Okay, it is only for your own benefit. Okay, do enjoy all the series that has been put forward to you. Don't worry if you cannot watch us live, it is always recorded. You can always find us on YouTube, in our Facebook, and you can always rewatch again all the series that we have done. More to come, okay? The girls are planning more programs to come. Get excited, okay? All these things are definitely helpful for you to plan your career, to plan your future education pathways, and do enjoy it. Share our Facebook, like I say again. I'm Jeffrey, together with Joyce and Ginny. We thank you for the support, we thank you for watching us, and see you again. Bye bye.